Welcome back to my channel where I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. So, here we are. The final chapter in an almost 2-year-long fucking saga. From photoshopping receipts to failed cosmetics, extortion to criminal allegations, alleged hacking to emotional abuse, taking advantage of subscribers to blackmail and straight-up harassment and exploitation. And with his already impressive resume as a CEO, an artist, a scientist, a biologist, a chemical biologist, there's a difference, a model, an investigative journalist, and a clothing designer, John Cookian really can do it all, and has multiple times. In part 1, we ended with John ignoring, then blocking, and in turn stealing money by way of a refusal of refund, i.e. taking and or keeping something that is not yours, from a subscriber who paid for a ticket to, actually, hotel and travel to John's bullshit shit show launch that obviously never fucking happened. His beloved long-time years in the making company was never even a passing thought until just very recently. Right up until about the time he got away with extorting money from creators, blackmailing people, threatening people, doxing people, trying to hack people, taking advantage of spoonies with fucking brain tumors. Remember that one, John? I sure do. So does she. After reaching out to him on every social media platform, email, anything to get her money back and travel costs reimbursed, as was promised by John himself, he blocked her altogether, giving her the equivalent of a go fuck yourself. And though she's one of many who never saw a damn dime, what was really disgusting about this situation is the circumstances that John was aware of surrounding it. After buying tickets for herself and a friend who was also a fan of John at the time, her friend DM'd John telling her how excited she and her friend were, how big of a fan she was, and how much this meant to her because her friend was a spoonie with a benign brain tumor that she had been struggling with, obviously, in many parts of her life, and the tickets were bought as a way to kind of get her mind off of everything and support him in the process. And still to this very day, I was literally talking to her yesterday, she has still never gotten a single fucking cent back from him, or an apology, or anything fucking at all. Now, the main point of part 2 is something else entirely.
Living with a girl that went literally psycho. Like, she actually went psycho and was screaming she was going to burn the house down.
Titties! Help, I'm over here!
Her husband was crying. I think she'd hit him in the face.
You just touched her.
Ooh.
Damn!
Because he had like a thing here, and she's told me that she's hit him before.
Like, she hit him in front of me a few days earlier.
Like, some horrible things happened at the place I was staying at before that. And I have voice notes of the whole thing. Like, I have, it's not like a story time where it's like, did that really happen? Like, I actually have videos, audios, text messages, everything. Like, I always keep my receipts. I have voice notes of the entire thing. This person went completely mental and threatened to burn the house down with me inside.
Titties!
Let's start from the beginning, but what series of events actually had occurred. Rewind to the beginning of June. John puts out a video begging his subscribers for things, but this time he was begging for a whole ass goddamn house to stay in.
I am in Southern California. I am here visiting. I'm on holiday. I'm visiting Titty Queens. And my living situation has gone really tits up, okay? Like, mega tits up. Like, I thought I was so organised, and I was. And it went tits up. I'm kind of in a really awkward living situation. I've already stayed in 2 or 3 different hotels, and I'm now staying somewhere else. And let me show you a clip of yesterday's video. In Courtroom, your source of these investigations all through the week. And that's why you didn't get the tea yesterday. I really, really need to move, like, today, tomorrow, the day after. I just came here for a big holiday to see things and get some sun. And I was wondering if anyone wanted to adopt me, okay? And I'm actually being deadly serious. That's a yikes from me on that one. I really am looking for someone to adopt me. Some people might think I'm too old to be adopted, but I really disagree.
Because God forbid you spend your own coin and take care of your goddamn self like a nearing 30-year-old man does.
But I'm really looking for somewhere to stay where I can make videos which is safe, which is peaceful, which is quiet.
So being as though he's literally begging for a house, again, after he was thrown out of the last 2 places that he was at, You would assume there's a bit of humility and gratefulness for whatever he may be offered, right?
Wrong.
My ideal place that just popped into my head is like a really, really big family home.
Really, really big house, preferably. We don't do middle class when we're begging. It's beneath us.
Like if you just like, just literally just like, if you just a Titty Fam family and you just have like a big spare room that gets a lot of sun because I'm quite sun sensitive.
Obviously have to drink the Kool-Aid and worship myself and my dying channel. Has to be a big room, lots of large expensive windows that let a lot of light in, even though sun sensitivity would mean that I would need to be cautious in exposing myself to too much sunlight, but we all know that you made this up out of fucking thin air, so fuck the details, right?
But it's really just gone really tits up. Like, I haven't spoken too much, but like I've already had 2 crazy experiences here. Maybe I'll do a story time. But anyway, me and Peppo are just looking for somewhere to chill. So if you do have a big family home with a big bedroom with lots of sunlight, and if you happen to have a double garage, I would be super, super grateful. Like, incredibly grateful.
Oh, and a double car garage for a car I don't have.
Very, very difficult. Like, traveling around, haven't got a car yet. I tried to go to Enterprise and he scammed me today. It was so bad. I'll give you a full story time, maybe. Let me know if you want to hear it down below. But anyway, that is everything. That's why I've been so tired. That's why the content's been a bit erratic.
You also need cars that I can drive, thanks.
I'll be happy to pay rent. Please just email me, johncookian@gmail.com. It's linked down below.
How about new?
Enter his next victims and who this video is all about. We'll call them Lily and Jack. After seeing John's virtual begging, Lily and her husband Jack reached out to John that same day via email. Now, as I stated in the email, the plan was to have John move in when they moved into their mansion upon closing escrow. But John, having nowhere to fucking go, and God forbid he pay for a hotel and take care of himself, he insisted that he come that night because the people that he was staying with in California went crazy and kicked him out for no fucking reason. Sounds familiar. So Lily and Jack get on their laptops, find the next flight available, and book it, pay for it, send him the ticket, PayPal him almost $300 extra because of his luggage fucking weight was over the limit. I don't know how the fuck it was $300 over the goddamn limit. They bought him a bed because they had no furniture left in the house, obviously, as they were moving, and they flew him out to Maryland. The first few days were pretty normal, and then John started to get weird. He would constantly record Lily in her pajamas with no makeup on, without her knowing, and when she would catch him, she would repeatedly ask him not to, and that he didn't have her permission. He would go through her Instagram DMs and respond to guys with videos of his ass.
You're trash.
Like, I'm not even fucking joking you.
Oh my God! Oh jeez! Oh my God!
There is no God. There is no God.
And you have the fucking audacity to accuse other creators of being fucking perverts.
Trash.
She and her husband also had more than one instance of them all 3 being in the same room, just talking to each other, and then she would randomly hear one of John's 4 phones make that ping sound when your recording has run out of memory and you have to start it over again, you know what I'm talking about? Remember that, because we'll talk about that again in a minute. He was trashing her entire basement, trashing her Audi R8 that she let him fucking drive, and his blood-sucking ass actually tried to get them to put him on their fucking car insurance. He would purposefully leave M&Ms on the fucking floor for her dogs to eat, even though, you know, chocolate kills dogs. Like, my 3-year-old is aware of this. He would leave her studio lights on, which have caused a fire in the past and could burn down the entire fucking house.
Titties!
She spent hundreds of dollars on groceries for him, yet he would insist that they eat out at restaurants every day and night. She even bought new backdrops for his filming setup. He was trashing all of her makeup because, of course, he has none of his own. Claimed that her blood sugar palette was his and that he actually had paid for it.
Hello and welcome back to Cookian's Courtroom, your source of beauty investigations all through the week. Today we are going to be doing a brutally honest, non-arslicky review first impressions of the Joffree Star Blood Sugar Palette. This is something that's been highly recommended. Inside, again, it's a plain box, so considering this palette is like $54 or $56, I would have expected something a tiny bit nicer with the shipping box. I know that it's just packaging, but for that price point for one single item, it would have cost a few extra cents to throw in a branded box, even just with a logo stamped in it. So that for me was just a bit like, okay, I can live with it, but I would expect a tiny bit more for the price. Sealed with a sticker. I paid $52 for this Blood Sugar Palette. I think I ordered it around a week ago and it arrived today. So it took about a week or a little bit more to get here.
And actually, if you look at the timestamp for his video for the Blood Sugar Review palette, it was on the 16th. But if you look at the receipt date of when she ordered the palette, it was on the 9th, which was the exact same day that John had gotten there, or he was supposed to have gotten there, right? Now, if John, say, ordered this palette before he left, which I don't really believe he did at all, I mean, the receipt is right there. But let's just say, to play the devil's advocate, maybe John did order the palette, right? And he ordered it and he was trying to have it forwarded to his address, his new address. There is no fucking way that if he had ordered it from where he was in California, sent it over to where he had moved in with his family, there's no way he would have gotten it that fast. There's absolutely no way.
Accommodated all of his weird-ass requests and requirements, one of which being, and I shit you not, a tap water allergy. So, in the entire world, in all of recorded medical history, there are only 40 cases of a water allergy. Ever. John, you are not one of those 40 people. You adopted a false affliction that, of course, would require special treatment, and not just when going to fancy restaurants, but from every single person around you at any given time. It's like a constant certain amount of attention that he must have at all times, no matter how minimal or trivial it may be, and partially to demean the person or persons having to cater to him. It puts a fake sense of importance in your head to always have to make people bend to whatever you feel like making up. It was just yet another way for him to chip at her mental psyche and self-esteem every single fucking day. He's making videos in her home and Snapchatting her Louis Vuitton and Chanel bags, her luxury cosmetics, but then, again of course, a set of erratic tweets, photos, and a video were sent out by John within an hour. Remember those two. After the tweets, the only time that we had heard of this story again was in multiple videos of his where he nonchalantly threatens her, calls her insane, says she was trying to kill him and set him on fire,
Titties!
and calls her abusive.
I was living in California. My living situation was really dire because I couldn't rent anywhere, and I'd moved here with the intention of renting and traveling and seeing places, and I couldn't rent without a social security number, so I had to stay in this Pavo situation. Received an email from someone, invited me to come and stay with them. It was a very, very long, detailed, exquisite email, and I made the decision to go and stay with them, but after a few weeks they went completely insane. I have voice notes of the entire thing. This person went completely mental and threatened to burn the house down with me inside. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm happy to leave that chapter closed for now.
Remember that part too. Now, throughout this entire debacle, everyone was trying to figure out who these people were. And lo and behold, after seeing what John was trying to pull and bullshit everyone about, Lily finally comes forward. She spoke with me, and as you know by now, Beauty with Ashley. And this bitch brought the receipts.
I want to see the receipts.
Now check that.
Every single shred of evidence to back up every single word she was saying, and every lie of John's she contended was sent right over, no hesitation whatsoever. Ashley then puts out her part 1 and 2 of the situation, which are all linked below. They get a ton of support. John immediately starts losing subscribers again and feeling that narcissistic rage that we all know and love. John slithers into her comment sections and her emails to send her what he thinks are the smoking gun to declare his innocence. It's cute, really. I mean, like, he really thought he was shutting bitches down. A for effort, though. Let's start with the comments, shall we? Oh, like the blood and bruises you photoshopped onto Sam's face in the thumbnail of a video you just put out? As for the emails he sent Ashley, and attached were 2 photos that Lily had already sent both of us. Notice one, he cropped out the rest of it, and in the second screenshot, he made sure that you couldn't see the timestamps, and that's because his little "I'll go peacefully" text at the bottom there was sent hours after he had already been kicked out of the house and left. He literally sent that for the purpose of using the conversations in a future story time, which he ended up making, and we'll get to that too. Or to just fuck with someone's life, because that's what people like him do. Ashley goes on to blast his bullshit, his poor me emails, and he finishes digging his grave with his response video, subtly thrown in a drama video, which is just fucking hilarious given the temper tantrum you just threw about something being so serious used as YouTube tea.
There was a very, very damaging rumour spread about me by someone that I had no intention of ever mentioning on social media.
Which you did.
I was living in California. My living situation was really dire because I couldn't rent anywhere, and I'd moved here with the intention of renting and travelling and seeing places, and I couldn't rent without a social security number, so I had to stay in this Pavo situation. Received an email from someone inviting me to come and stay with them. It was a very, very long, detailed, exquisite email, and I made the decision to go and stay with them, but after a few weeks they went completely insane. I have voice notes of the entire thing. This person went completely mental and threatened to burn the house down with me inside. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm happy to leave that chapter closed for now. I was living with a girl that went literally psycho. Like, she actually went psycho and was screaming she was going to burn the house down. Her husband was crying. I think she'd hit him in the face because he had like a thing here, and she's told me that she's hit him before.
Like, she hit him in front of me a few days earlier.
Like, some horrible things happened at the place I was staying at before that. And I have voice notes of the whole thing. Like, I have, it's not like a story time where it's like, did that really happen? Like, I actually have videos, audios, text messages, everything. Like, I always keep my receipts. I'm gonna go into intense detail, but basically this person teamed up with a drama channel on YouTube. They did a 3-part expose series to try and make out that I was lying about someone's domestic abuse and stuff like this.
And which you did.
It's stuff that I haven't spoken about on my channel. When I've spoken about very, very serious things on my channel, the videos haven't been monetized or the videos have been unlisted when I have had to talk about serious things in the past.
Wait, I thought the story was that you had never talked about serious topics like this on YouTube, but now it's that you haven't spoken about them and monetized it. Which is also funny because I seem to remember the Amrezy Snapchat breakdown being monetized, and you even went a whole ass step further to cut sound bites out of it that you thought were the funniest, monetized them, and sold them as ringtones. You forget about that one? Or when you said Jeffrey had sexually transmitted diseases, which is a very serious topic that ruins people's lives. Or when you said he was the face of somebody that smoked meth, which is a very serious topic that ruins people's lives. Or when you said Peterman was a pedophile, which is a very serious fucking topic that ruins people's lives. Or when you claimed that Jaclyn Hill was a sexual predator that groomed you for 6 months. Did you forget about all of those too? Because I could go on and on if so.
When you hear me play voice notes, it's not voice notes like I've recorded a conversation, it's a voice note on iMessage.
See, you lie about shit that doesn't even fucking matter, and then you unknowingly expose yourself later on. Here's a tweet you sent out trying to expose Sam. See that date on 6/22, the night that you were kicked out, labeled bitch? Yeah, you sound traumatized.
Traumatizing.
Under voice memos? Oh, one more thing. You know how you said in your comments to Ashley, your emails, that you never ever, not one time, without a doubt, never recorded her or her husband in their own home without their knowledge or permission before that night, and only that one clip where she's telling you to get the fuck out? Then, what were all of those there, John? And what else is before that?
I didn't open up about this really, despite how traumatic it was. I think I might have done 1 or 2 live live streams just gently talking about it.
Ah, so now you did in fact talk about it after that night, and multiple times, on multiple platforms. So you took it to other social medias.
The person has taken a topic of domestic abuse that did not exist on the YouTube platform and has siphoned it over as a way to make money and get her paycheck for the week. I've done 1 or 2 live streams just gently talking about it.
You dirty little liar.
Not Ashley, not me, you. You exposed your fucking self. Imagine that. Could you imagine?
Fucking bitch. You understand me? Fuck all of you. Eat my fucking ass. You really want this right now? I don't want anything. Okay, we'll get him out.
You conveniently left out her husband saying, "You wanted him out, we'll get him out of here." You seem to have set up this really creepy her versus us mentality with this for whatever reason. You put a situation in your mind that just simply doesn't exist. Her husband wasn't bruised and battered and running away with you in his expensive car to his huge fucking Jeffree Star-ass mansion. You claw at this idea of a life and a means of living that you will never attain. You are not Jeffree Star, and you will never come close to living like that. That was your #1 reason for immediately replying to their email, because it was a certain way of living that was offered.
For every fucking person that's trying to drag you, you fucking beggar-ass fucking bitch.
You know exactly what she fucking said, John. She said, "You beggar-ass bitch."
You know what airport you're going to? Just the nearest one, or Baltimore, Washington is. I think that's probably the one you flew into. You want to go to the same one that you flew into?
You didn't know if you were going to get dumped in a ditch. Okay. And you said she threatened to kill you multiple times, that she was going to burn down the whole house with you in it, that she locked you in her basement, in a basement that doesn't lock. Where's everything else you lied about, huh? Couldn't find that in your illegal recordings, John?
Even the good side, she's bragging about beating you, bragging about smashing your car up. That's not a good side at all.
Right.
I feel so bad for you, because how can you live your entire life with someone that sets out to torture you? Like, if you've spent 10 years trying to fix her and it's this bad still, she needs professional help. Like, she needs to go to a clinic. She needs to see a professional.
I know.
I've watched her smack you in the face.
I
You can't make excuses. Like,
No,
I watched her smack you in the face.
I understand. Look, and I've been through many things, up and down, back and forth, and I'll be honest with you. If I didn't see the times when I saw kind of the good part of her come out, which is
minimal,
can be rare. There are times though when
she makes the choice to be an asshole. Anyone can have mood swings, but smacking someone in the face—that's a choice. That's not, oh well, she's having a bad day. Like you never deserve to be treated like that.
Understood. Oh shit.
Take the exit.
Wow, you cut that off quick there, didn't ya? Wouldn't want to leave in him saying, "No, she's never hit me and is in no way abusive to him." And of course you cut off him responding and splice it with another clip to hide the fact that if you pay attention, time lapses. Multiple times.
You know what airport you're going to? Just the nearest one, or Baltimore, Washington is. I think that's probably the one you flew into. You want to go to the same one that you flew into? Okay.
Even the good side, she's bragging about beating you, bragging about smashing your car up. That's not a good side at all.
Right.
I feel so bad for you, because How can you live your entire life with someone that sets out to torture you? Like,
you can tell by the car tires going from a rural road to a highway. All you have to do is listen. Like, you honestly think that the few subscribers you have left are just complete dumb fucks, don't you? Like, I'm insulted for them.
That conversation was not recorded without permission. It was a two-way recording. I got into the car with this person that drove me to the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she forced him to leave the phone open because she said, I want to hear every fucking word that happens in that car. Because she didn't trust him. She didn't trust him to keep his mouth shut. So she called him and left the phone open the whole time, and she said, well, he's recording, so I'm going to record too. And I was like, okay, so I started my recording.
You go from you got permission to record Jack in the car with you on the way there, which is bullshit, and then you say that she called and forced him to leave the car phone on throughout the entire car ride, and that she was recording, so then you said out loud that you were going to start recording as well. So which one is it? Because that night you tweeted that on the way there he wasn't allowed to speak at all. So let's run through both scenarios here just for shits and giggles in case there's any gray area about what exactly did and did not occur. So either she called him and left the phone on the whole time while recording it, while you were also recording it. That's not possible because not once did you hear her say a goddamn word this entire time. The whole time you were telling her husband that she was an abusive piece of shit who had mental problems and that she needed to be medicated, that she slapped him and he saw it happen. All of this shit talking, and this same woman you just heard dragging you by your fucking wig,
You fucking beggar ass fucking bitch!
that was dangerous and crazy, just sat there silently and said not a fucking word. We also never hear Jack speaking to her on the speakerphone in this entire car ride throughout the entire conversation. Yet you were recording them getting into the car. You can literally hear you both shutting your doors at the beginning of the clip. So, okay, you just debunked your own lie. Thanks. That was easy. Or the other scenario, that is Jack getting in the car, somehow knew you were recording. He's also telepathic in this version, apparently. And even though because of his job, he can legally not even give consent to be recorded, it would be a threat to national fucking security. So you also debunked that with your own lie. Wow. Something I just find so funny about this, and it's a common character trait with John, is that he really doesn't even notice that he tells on himself. Somehow Lily was just losing her mind like absolutely everybody else for no reason, of course. Just like the two women you were with in California who also just snapped one day out of nowhere and just threw you out on the street. Just like the Miami guy who snapped and threw you out for no fucking reason. Just like he said Here for the Tea did when their friendship ended and she just snapped one day after he didn't text her back and went crazy for, of course, no reason.
I don't know if any of you have ever experienced like a domestic violence situation, but you know when someone starts harassing you because they no longer have control of you and they send you 100,000 messages desperate to get your attention, attacking you, praising you. That's really, really how this feels and how this looks. In fact, it looks even worse to me.
Man, either that is just the largest set of perfect coincidences I have ever seen, or you are crazy making. Just like every other narcissist. Next to gaslighting, it's your favorite thing to do. And at the end of the day, whether you think she was being nice or not, whether she was yelling or whispering, whether she told you to get the fuck out of her house and eat her asshole or called you a beggar-ass bitch, which has some truth to it, it is completely irrelevant and in any court of law would be completely thrown out. Because number one, it's her fucking house and she can tell you to get the fuck out at any time, on any day of the week, for any goddamn reason. I don't give a shit if her reason was because she couldn't stand to look at your crusty ass lips anymore. You were lucky as shit to even get any offer of housing from another human being. Let's be really fucking honest here. And two, just in case you didn't know, John, I assume you do now. The state that she lives in and that you recorded her in her own home without her permission in, which is Maryland, and according to Maryland Courts and Judicial Proceedings article section 10-402 subsection A states, and I quote, except as otherwise specifically provided in this subtitle, it is unlawful for any person to 1. Willfully intercept, endeavor to intercept, or procure any other person to intercept or endeavor to intercept any wire, oral, or electronic communication, which you did and then admitted to on video. 2. willfully disclose or endeavored to disclose to any other person the contents of any wire, oral, or electric communication, knowing or having reason to know that the information was obtained through the interception of a wire, oral, or electronic communication in violation of this subtitle, which you did and then admitted to on video, or 3. Willfully use or endeavor to use the contents of any wire, oral, or electronic communication, knowing or having reason to know that the information was obtained through the interception of a wire, oral, or electronic communication in violation of this subtitle, which you did and then admitted to on video. And go on to say, under subsection B, and I quote, that any person who violates subsection A of this section is guilty of a felony and is subject to imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine of not more than $10,000 or both, which you did to 2 separate people, and one has a security clearance. Do you have any idea how serious of a crime that is, my dude?
What's going on? Y'all are going to jail! Period!
And you were on a travel visa that you lied to get. You fucked up. Big time. Like, as far as your past felonious discretions, this is far fucking worse than any of them, especially in the eyes of the court system.
It doesn't matter what stage of a relationship you're in. You don't deserve to be beaten up. Like, there's never a reason why you deserve to be physically hurt by your partner. And I really do want to stress, if you are ever in a situation in your lifetime where someone is being physically violent towards you, emotionally violent towards you, anything like that, from my experience, it only gets worse.
You want to talk about domestic abuse, John? Let's talk about domestic fucking abuse. Right after you found out that Lily and I were in contact and saw me responding to and making tweets about part 2, and that a sad attempt at an expose didn't work, you start blowing me up on Instagram. And in those DMs, you included screenshots, cropped of course, of her entire criminal background, and one in particular of a court case over a domestic abuse charge. Whether or not you are either too lazy to actually read and analyze what you're even looking at, you have no fucking clue what you're even looking at, but pretend you did, which is most likely, or you knew exactly what it was in the story behind it, and chose to misrepresent it anyway, hoping I would buy your fucking bullshit. Which one of those is the case, can't know for sure, but just in case you really have no fucking idea what you're talking about and what false information you're spreading under the guise of being a victim of a horrible, abusive monster. Also, Lily gave me full permission to disclose everything that you're about to see and trusted me with it to clear her name on this topic once and for all. Lily and Jack have an open marriage, which, John, you know. And in 2016, she was in a relationship for a while with an abusive boyfriend. We'll call him Chris Brown. And as you can see, Jack said here, and if you actually fucking read the report, it shows you that only her name is on the file and that it was open and closed within a week. This is because he submitted a temporary order of protection, had a week to show up to file for an actual extended order, but he never showed up. Also, his is a protective order because he was doing it for himself. Mine was a peace order because you didn't want to file a report and I was protecting you. It was done in retaliation to her leaving him and filing for a peace order. This is what domestic fucking abuse looks like, John. There's your smoking fucking gun. You have no limits. You have no boundaries, you have no conscience, you feel no empathy, and you will trivialize anything that you have to. Abuse, rape, child abuse, addiction, mental health, suicide. You are fucking disgusting.
Bitch, go back to Party City where you belong.
Short of murdering somebody, it does not get any lower than you. So you can take your faux domestic violence crusader bullshit and shove it up your fucking ass. The fact that those words can even fall out of your mouth knowing that you are lying without even blinking is just fucking gross, man. Making someone relive abuse and making public one of the darkest moments of their lives is indefensible and unjustifiable. And next time, get the facts for your bullshit that you spew right, because for a self-titled investigative journalist, notice you're the only person that ever calls you that, you sure don't know shit about shit, and everything you say is so easily debunked at this point, it's honestly honestly like a real live dark triad case study at this point. Your tea is old. Everything you sent to me or Ashley, we both already had. Lily literally offered up every single shred of evidence and proof that was necessary, and then some. Every smoking gun that you thought you had, she had already disclosed without it even being asked because she was transparent. She didn't run to drama channels the night she kicked you out to seek clout, as if you have any in the first place. She didn't even bother to say a word to anybody, let alone anybody in the YouTube community, until you first tweeted out that she was going to kill you, that she was abusive, that she was threatening to physically assault you. Secondly, went out of your way to bring the situation up in multiple videos, threatening that if she didn't stay silent, that you would release, in your own words, pictures, videos, and audio recordings, and that she was completely insane and had mental health issues, and packaged it as the biggest story time ever on your channel. And thirdly, went on Instagram live streams twice, brought it to a whole separate social media platform, the only social media platform that she has a big audience on and is active on, and made it public yourself. Like, in what fucking world would anybody just let you sit back and do this shit to them and their family in? Where do they do that at? But the real cherry on top of the self-destruction cake is that in your sad attempt to manipulate and leech your way into the life of all the people that you've spent your entire time on YouTube desperately trying to beg acceptance from and then completely harass and slander, the kind of life that you have delusionally convinced yourself and your followers that you have, in your attempt to use people that actually really did care for you and were willing to serve you anything you could ever want on a silver fucking platter, you finally fucked with somebody who has the money, who has the resources, who has the time to fuck you back. And bitch, that's exactly what the fuck she did.
What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
And if I were you, the least of my worries would be some videos on YouTube calling you out on your shit and begging your subscriber to play your video in the background to generate more views and money for you, which is a huge violation of YouTube terms of service, by the way. How you don't know that is just beyond me. It's just truly amazing to me how many things are just so goddamn glaringly obvious. And if you made it to the end, congratulations! That's 12 hours of your life you'll never fucking get back. Also, I want to thank the people that worked with me very closely on this video. Everything that you want to know or that was referenced to is all in the description, of course. Leave a comment below letting me know what you think of this whole situation, what the fuck is up, what you want to see next. And in the meantime, I hope you're having a really good day or night wherever you're at. And don't forget, your vibe attracts your tribe. Bye.